The way we collaborate is completely changing as we rely on virtual collaboration technology to meet with teams around the world. At Jabra, we're continuing to work with our alliance partners to deliver solutions that make meetings as productive as possible. We spoke to David Rosenthal, a voice and meet specialist from Google, to find out how to create highly productive meetings.
Right, nobody likes going to meetings, right? So I think, every team that I've, interacted with has had a overarching goal of how do we use meetings effectively and not overwhelm them. And there are a couple of things. I mean, I can only talk about some of the teams that I've been on. Is that there aren't a lot of status readout meetings. Right. There's a really big focus on pre-work and post-work to make sure. So we don't really go to meetings where somebody reads out like what they've been working on this month or this year. Right. The meetings are very much focused on things that need to be decided on, like things that everybody needs to be briefed on so that information is available for that decision, and then sort of adjudicating that decision in a very democratized way. Like that's a very, very common thing. So although we are here today talking about meetings, one of the things that we do focus on is sort of the silent meetings. Making sure, and that's why there are a lot of other products like non-video related products like Google Docs, where there's a lot of pre-meeting work that happens collaboratively before the meeting happens. And so the meeting is focused on, the contentious details, and the simple ones have already been, sort of agreed upon offline.
But with home working, this presents new challenges and the need to use technology to deliver equal collaboration no matter where employees are working from, which is another focus of Google's.
It's something that you get to kind of appreciate, like that everybody's home situation is different. So, I have the luxury of having a dedicated home office, but lots of people don't. So, we put together some features like background blurring. So I'm just going to throw this on right now. So now I've blurred out this background, or, I can be on the beach or all sorts of stuff like that. So these are different. I can be in a bag of confetti, whatever we want. So, that's important to sort of make the, level the playing field from a, corporate worker perspective, just so that if you don't have a dedicated home office or even a dedicated room, that the person that's working from the kitchen table, sort of has the same level of professionalism as the person who's got a dedicated home office. And then there's the, there's the audio component of it. And, as a Jabra guy, I'm sure you're hyper tuned to the audio components of this. So for example, we released a noise canceller sort of a couple months ago. So like right now, if I'm crumpling a piece of paper, I turned my noise canceller off. So I'm crumpling a piece of paper like this, and you can see you've got a lot of background noise. And now I'm going to turn it on, and now you can't hear, background noise again. So that helps me be comfortable in a work environment that might not be perfectly silent. So those are different things that we work on to try and level the playing field for the everyday worker.
With vast experience in the software and hardware space, as well as working with partners like Jabra, Google are experts in ecosystems and solutions. We wanted to find out a little bit more about how Google approached the complexity of hardware and software ecosystems.
First of all, it's really hard. I think, balancing the what do we do internally, what do we partner on, what do we do in hardware, what do we do in software is something that it changes on a quarterly and yearly basis. So like the noise canceller I just showed you is something that we can do in the cloud today that we probably couldn't have done 5 years ago, right? We wouldn't have had, the machine learning models weren't powerful enough. We didn't have, computing resources in all the places around the world that that are needed. So these things change, and we need to always have our eye on, how to, how to be on top of this and how to make sure that we're making the right technology decisions. I think a interesting sort of sub question there is like, what do you do in purpose-built hardware versus what do you do for generic hardware? So the difference being like a meeting room kit versus a noise canceling headset that you're on right now. Those are sort of the more difficult questions to answer, because while we want to innovate, and innovate means creating software and making sure software is in as many different devices as possible, it also limits choice. So I think that's something that we're always balancing. I think the one overarching summary there is that peripherals for meeting experiences make it better. And if you're still taking meetings on your laptop, you should stop and figure out how to make that better, right? Like, how do you improve the camera? What can you do for audio? Do you have an external monitor, right? There are really simple things that companies should be encouraging amongst their user base that really improves. I mean, it's not the quality of the meeting, it's the comfort of the meeting.
A big thanks to David Rosenthal from Google, who has been sharing insights with us on the secret to highly productive meetings, how technology is enabling better remote collaboration, and the ecosystems that enable comfortable virtual meetings.